Hey, what is up, YouTube fam? It's Ben here, back with another class. As always, we got new videos here every Wednesday and Sunday, so please hit subscribe if you'd like to continue growing our classes together, and let me know in the comments what else you want to see out of this channel. So today we got a nice, fun, energizing yoga flow. We're going to focus especially on opening throughout the heart space, really getting nice and open throughout the chest, throughout the upper back, and throughout the spine. But of course, we're obviously going to get into the legs and into the arms as well as we usually do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it, starting in a tabletop position. So coming into your tabletop, finding right away that the shoulders are above the wrists and the hips are above the knees. You can have the tops of the feet pressing down behind you, or you can tuck the toes if that feels more comfortable. It's up to you. Just start by shifting the weight around, taking some circles with the shoulders over the wrists. You can go in maybe 5 circles clockwise and then 5 circles counterclockwise. Notice the weight being pressed into the hands. Try to bring some space between the fingertips. Once you finish those 5 rotations in either direction, come back through center and turn the palms back so the fingertips face toward the knees, thumbs face out to the sides. And if this is uncomfortable on your wrists, you can either go one at a time, or you can put the hands more so out to the sides so that they're not completely in that 180-degree flipped position. But either way, wherever you land, try to just rock the weight around for a little bit. Feel the forearms and the wrists stretching out. And if you're just doing one hand at a time, go ahead and switch over to the other hand. And if you're doing both hands, we'll just be here for another 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands to face forward like normal. From here, we'll flip one hand at a time. So go ahead and flip one of your palms so the back of the hand presses down into the mat, and then find some little movements, whether it's bunching up the fingertips and then expanding, or maybe it's simply pressing the weight down in different areas of the hand, maybe shifting the weight around in the upper body as well. And most of the weight here is in the normal palm, and just a little bit of the weight is in the flipped one. Go ahead and switch. Release that hand, flip the other one. Find any movements that might feel nice. Good. Release the hands to face forward like normal. And we'll start rolling through some cat-cows. This is our opportunity to link our movement with our breath. So as we inhale, drop the belly, curl the chest forward. As we exhale, push everything away and round the spine. Inhales to drop the belly and curl the chest forward. Exhales to push away and round the spine. Inhales to curl forward. Exhales to round. Keep it moving. Inhales to curl forward. Exhales to round. Maybe even close your eyes to connect as you inhale, curl it forward. As you exhale, round and push away. Inhale, curl it forward. Exhale and round. Last one here. Inhale, curl it forward. Exhale, round. Come into a neutral positioning. From here, we'll extend the right leg to the back of the mat, or toward the back of the mat, so the right leg will be floating out behind us. Both hands are still on the mat, and the left knee and left foot are still down on the mat. Get as straight and strong as you possibly can through the right leg here. Really start flexing the right toes down toward the mat, and the more you flex in the right leg, including the quadricep muscle, the more length we can find in the back of the leg, in the hamstring. We'll just be here for 3, 2, 1. Start to shift the right leg out toward the right side. So keeping the right leg as straight as you can, extending the right leg toward the right side, creating length in the hip flexor and in the quad and in the whole leg. Come back through center, kick the right leg behind you, and then bring the right leg off the left side of your mat, and it'll kickstand off the left side of your mat as you come into a twist. Look over your left shoulder. Feel the right side body expanding, maybe even drop down to your forearms if you feel like that's available here. We'll just be here for 3, 2, 1. Start to come through center. So extending the right leg out behind us one more, and then driving the right knee up in toward the chest, even up toward the nose. Push everything away, curl everything up toward the midline for 3, 2, 1. Release down into tabletop. If you need to shift the weight around for a moment, feel free. And then as you're ready, we'll go ahead and extend the left leg out behind us. Again, the goal here is to get as straight and strong as possible in the left leg. So feeling the left leg start to flex. And the more we flex in the quad, again, the more length we can find in the hamstring and the back of the leg. Flex and point the left toes down toward the mat, almost flexing the toes back toward the left shin. Find the length. And then we'll open the left leg out toward the left side of our body. This is so challenging for me, especially in the hip flexor. Bring it back through center, kick long, and then extend the left leg off the right side of the mat. Look over your right shoulder as we kickstand the left foot down. You can shift the weight a little bit. You can drop down to your forearms maybe. Just find a version of this that feels nice, that feels lengthening in the mid-body. We'll just be here for 3, 2, 1. Awesome work. Come back through center. Extend the left leg out behind you and then curl the left knee in toward the chest, toward the nose. Find as much compression as you can. Good work here for 3, 2, 1. Release down into a tabletop position and then find downward facing dog. Tuck in the toes. Lifting the hips up and back, pressing the heels down toward the mat. And this is where we have some time to warm into this shape. You can bend one knee, then the other. You can shift the weight side to side by dropping the heels to the left and right. Any movements that help you get a little bit deeper into your down dog are more than welcome here. Let it be smooth. We have some time. We're not in any rush to get anywhere. We're not in any rush to achieve anything. We're just trying to be present in our bodies as we breathe nice and steadily and deeply. We'll have another 3 or 4 breaths in this down dog just to get any movements out that we'd like. And then once you feel good, feel free to just pause in stillness in your down dog. Even when I cue movements, there's nothing wrong with finding a little bit of stillness or pause. There's nothing wrong with taking a break whenever you want. Good. And if you looked up at the screen, you'll see that I was doing some spinal rolls just to get a little bit more into my arms and my upper body. So we're going to do some of those together now. I'll cue us with the breath. And hopefully by the 3rd or 4th round, we'll get the hang of it and start to build some muscle memory. So as we inhale, rise up high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees a lot. Bring your belly closer to your thighs. Inhale, roll the spine forward into a high plank position. And as you exhale, drop the knees to hover and scoop the hips up and back, finding that tilt in the pelvis. And so that's what we're doing here. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the belly closer to thighs. Inhale, wave yourself forward into high plank. Exhale, drop the knees to hover and scoop the hips up and back, down dog. Inhale, rise to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees a lot. Inhale, wave yourself forward into high plank. Exhale, hover the knees, scoop the hips back, down dog. Inhale, rise high onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees a lot. Inhale, wave forward into high plank. Exhale, drop the knees to hover and scoop the hips up and back. Last one here. Inhale, rise onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, wave yourself into a high plank. Exhale, drop the knees and then scoop the hips up and back, down dog. From here, look forward and walk the feet up to the hands. Forward fold, top of the mat. Let the upper body relax. It's natural to want to straighten the legs here, but see what kind of benefits it brings to your spine, especially, and to your range of motion here. When you bend the knees a little bit, a lot of times it allows us to really fold quite a bit deeper and find more length in our back body. You're welcome to find ragdoll, clasping opposite hand to elbow, letting the upper body totally relax. As you'll see, I'm finding a version of Padahastasana, gorilla pose, by sliding my hands underneath my feet, and it's just because I love this variation. I love the opportunity to stretch out my wrists as much as I possibly can during a yoga practice, but I understand that not everybody always needs that as much as I do. But either way, as long as you're finding a position where you're creating length on the backs of the legs and relaxation in the upper body, then you're in the right place. So just relax. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release any binds that might be going on with your hands, and then sink the hips low, bend your knees a lot. Lift the torso up into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink the hips a little bit lower. Bring the weight into the heels. The feet are hips width distance apart. Press the hips back in space. Sit back even deeper. Shoulders relax away from the ears. If it's uncomfortable to lift the palms overhead, you can bring the hands down to the hips so you can feel the foundation, feel the engagement. We'll be here for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep breathing. Find some ease here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Beautiful job. And 1. Bend the knees a lot and then eventually fold forward, straightening out the legs. From here, find a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Extend the spine forward and then fold and release. Place your palms firmly on the mat. Step back to a high plank pose. When you reach high plank, pause here. Set your foundation, knowing that any time we stop in high plank, you're more than welcome to come down to your knees if that helps bring you more support. But finding a really strong high plank, notice what the fingertips are doing. The more we can spread out the fingertips and drive down through the fingertips, the less weight we're dumping down into the wrists. Similarly, the more we can lift up in our core, the more we can engage in our legs, the less we're dumping down into the wrists. Find the full body engagement here for 10, 9, 8, 7. Beautiful work for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As slow as you can, lower the chest and belly down to the mat. We'll prepare for oscillating cobra, my favorite way to open up the chest at the beginning of a practice. So the fingertips will meet the ground off the top corners of your mat at about 10 and 2, and we'll move with our breath. So on our inhales, we peel the chest up off the mat, lift, exhale just to release. Inhale to lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, keep it going. Exhale, release, build a rhythm. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Place the palms firmly down on the mat. Tuck the toes behind you. Flex the legs so that the knees lift off the mat. Point the shoulder heads down. Feel the elbows pulling back behind you. So everything's tucked in, everything's compressing. We're creating such a strong shape. And then press up into a high plank. And then whenever we truly engage everything and do things that are anatomically correct, generally it feels harder. But it's building more strength and it's setting a more stable foundation so that we build strength and avoid injury. From high plank, just lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Feel the belly press a little bit closer to the thighs. We're going to start getting into the meat of our practice here. I always feel weird when I say the meat of the practice because I don't even really eat meat, you know? We're getting into the portobello mushroom, we're getting into the tofu of the practice. I don't know, there's no other good way to say it, you know? We're getting into the juicy part of our practice here, where we're gonna start opening our heart and really just creating some length across the whole body. So we'll lift the right leg up to three-legged dog here, and then we'll bend the right knee, stacking the right hip on top of the left. You can find some movement here. You can flip into wild thing or flip dog by lowering the right foot down to the mat outside of the left leg. Or you can just kind of stay there and move around for 3, 2, 1. Come back to 3-point. When you reach 3-point, bring the right knee toward the left elbow. Twist and look over to the left. From here, extend the right leg off the mat. Dial the left heel down as we lift the hips up to the sky and reach the left hand up for fallen triangle or revolved side plank, whatever you want to call it. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, listen carefully. We'll lower the right hip, or we'll lower both hips actually toward the wrist of the right hand. Lowering, finding strength, and then folding down the middle, wide-legged forward fold. Find the space. If you attended my arm balance flow that I posted a few weeks ago, you're familiar with this movement. Creates a lot of strength and just gives us a moment to relax in a challenging sequence. So feel the relaxation here in this wide-legged forward fold for 3, for 2, and 1. Bring the palms up to the top of the mat, so to the outside of the right leg. Start to lift up, and we're coming back into three-legged dog, lifting the right leg up to the sky, and then stepping the right foot to the right thumb, coming into a low lunge Anjaneyasana. When you get to low lunge, lift the hands up to the sky, bend a little bit deeper, feel the length in the front of the left hip especially. Then bring your left hand down to the mat. Start to roll onto the outer blades of both feet, so the pinky toe side of both feet, as the right knee kind of presses out toward the right side, and lift the right hand up to the sky. Good. Start to release down, coming back into a low lunge. Lift the hands up to the sky. Take a breath in. As you exhale, palms down to the mat, straighten the right leg, half splits, fold over the right shin. Take about 2 or 3 deep breaths here. It's our opportunity to get a little bit deeper into the hamstring. If you want to roll around the right ankle in the socket, feel free. Good. We'll start to shift it forward. Coming back into our low lunge, we'll lift the hands up to the sky, and then we'll bring our left hand to the back of our left leg as we open and reach the right hand overhead. And this may not be a connection that you find. If it's too hard for you to reach the right hand to the back of, or the left hand, excuse me, to the back of the left leg, you can play with an open arm twist, or you could just lift both arms up to the sky again, or you can try to clasp the hands behind the low back to open the chest, because the intention here is just to create space in the chest, spine, and side bodies. And there's many ways we could do that. So take one more breath in here. And as we exhale, bring the palms down to the mat. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, runner's lunge, and then straighten the right leg, send the hips back in space, fold over the right shin. And you might have a bend in your right knee if your hamstrings are feeling tight at the moment. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bend into the right knee. As you inhale, rise up into a high crescent lunge. Option to keep the palms up to the sky. You can bring them down to heart center, or you can find that same extension, reaching the left hand toward the back of the left leg as the right hand lifts overhead to open the chest. Take a breath in and a breath out. On your next breath in, reach both hands up to the sky, high crescent. As you exhale, open up into warrior two. Good. So take some moments once you land in warrior two. Settle in. The alignment that we ideally want here, the right foot is pointing forward at 12 o'clock. We want the right heel in alignment with the arch of the left foot as the left heel is dialed down. And it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. It's just a kind of suggestion to make sure that we're relatively close to the recommended alignment. From here, find peaceful warrior. Reach the right hand back in space. Keep bending into your right knee. And then straighten the right leg. Lean back a little bit further. Take a breath in and a breath out. Do that one more time. Breath in, breath out. Rotate, triangle, trikonasana. The right hand will land on the right shin, or you can reach the right hand down to the mat and then lift up, reaching up and back through the left shoulder and left palm. Trying not to find any rounding or compression in the right side body here. It's more so extension. And if you have a yoga block, this is a great place for yoga blocks. I often don't use the blocks for these YouTube classes because I know not everybody has them, so I don't want to exclude anyone, but if you have them, they're wonderful resources. With that being said, reach up, take one more breath in, and one more breath out. Bend into the right knee. Start to lift back up into your warrior two. When you reach back into your warrior two, straighten the legs, take a quarter turn toward the left side of the mat, and then fold forward, wide-legged forward fold. From wide-legged fold, see if you can place your forearms down on the mat. You can bend your knees in order to get there. And if you can't do that, you can just use your hands for this exercise. But with our forearms down on the mat, or your hands, doesn't matter, we'll start to lean the weight forward and see if you can rise onto the tippy toes, lifting the heels off the mat, putting more weight into the forearms. And we're not going to fly upside down or anything, but just by leaning and seeing if maybe we can reach higher and higher and higher, hips above shoulders, maybe just coming onto the big toe of both feet. We're finding so much strength and engagement in the arms as we drive through the forearms and lift the hips as much as we can. Straighten the legs as much as you can for 3, 2, 1, ground the heels back down. Good. Start to walk the hands to the back of the mat toward the left foot. Frame the feet toward the back of the mat, coming into a runner's lunge, and then drop the right knee down to the mat. Come into Anjaneyasana, low lunge, lifting the hands up to the sky. Take a couple breaths here. Allow the arms to relax, even as they're extending up to the sky, and then find some length in the front of the right hip here. The right hand will then come down and we'll rotate onto the outer blades of both feet, feeling the left knee press a little bit more out to the side. Finding a nice outer hip stretch here. Take one breath in. As you exhale, release the right knee back down, square forward again. Come into your low lunge once more. Reach the hands up. From here, take one more breath in. As you exhale, release the hands down, straighten the left leg for half splits. Find a nice fold. Good. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out, bring it forward. Anjaneyasana, low lunge, one more time. Palms lift up, and then see if you can bring the right hand to the back of the right leg as the left hand keeps reaching overhead. And again, the goal here is we're not too concerned about the right hand to right leg connection. We're more concerned with just creating space in the chest, in the spine, and in the side bodies. So if there's another way you'd like to do that, that feels better for you, you are always in charge of your own practice. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, bring the hands back down to the mat, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, straighten the left leg in some capacity. For this modified pyramid, keep the hips and feet squared forward as we find a nice gentle fold over the left leg. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out, bend into the left knee, and then rise up into our high crescent lunge. Beautiful movements here, y'all. Rock the hips a little bit lower. Find a nice variation here. You can stay, you can bring your palms to heart center, or you can reach the right hand to the back of the right leg. Keep bending deeply into your left knee as we reach the left hand overhead. Again, a variation is to clasp the hands behind the low back, or just to keep the hands overhead and then lean back a little bit. So take a breath in and a breath out. Start to release by reaching both hands up to the sky and then open out into your warrior two. Good work. Start to find some little pulses, maybe bending a little bit deeper into the left knee, just feeling the strength here. And then lean back into peaceful warrior. Find length in the left side body, and then straighten the left leg. Find even more length. Reach back even more. Take a deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. Start to rotate forward and down into triangle trikonasana. Left hand to the left ankle. Open through the right side body, right chest, right shoulder, right hand. Try to avoid that compression in the left side body as we discussed on the other side. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Start to bend into the left knee. Rise back up into your warrior two. When you get into warrior two, take a quarter turn and then release down into your wide-legged forward fold. This time, we're all gonna place the weight on our hands. So no forearms this time. Bend your knees as much as you need. And as you'll see, my hands are sort of off the side of the mat. So they don't have to be on the mat. You can reach forward if that gives you more space. And then we'll start to lean forward. So the goal here is to lean forward enough so that our shoulders are above our wrists. And then we're imagining our hips lift up as much as they can. We're bringing more and more weight onto the hands, and we're coming onto the tippy toes as much as we can, straightening the legs. So we're not concerned with doing a handstand or anything. We're just playing with shifting the weight from the feet to the hands as we lean forward and rise up onto the toes. Feel the weight pressing through the hands. Feel everything squeezing together for 3, 2, 1. Return the heels to the mat. Release into your fold. Crawl the hands to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. When you get to runner's lunge, step the right foot back to the left. Come into high plank. We'll hold this high plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. From down dog, lift the left leg to 3-point. Bend the left knee, stack the left hip on top of the right. Option to stay here, option to find flip dog or wild thing by lowering the left foot behind the right leg, or option just to stay there and find some movement in your 3-legged dog. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Start to close it off. Bring the left knee toward the right elbow. Shift the weight forward, twist, look to the right, and then extend the left leg. Open up into our revolved side plank or fallen triangle, whatever it's called. Lift the hips up, press through the left hand, open through the heart. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to start to release by lowering the hips to the left wrist, kind of rotating towards the right side of our mat. As the hips lower, fold down, seated wide-legged forward fold. Allow the arms to relax for a moment. Allow the legs to relax a moment as we simply stretch here. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to bring your hands up to the top of the mat, to the outside of the left leg, and then lift the left leg back up to 3-legged dog. From here, take a breath in As you exhale, step left foot to left thumb. Runner's lunge. When you get to runner's lunge, drop the right knee down to the mat. Lift the hands up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Good. Stay here or bring the right hand to the back of the right leg. Open up through the chest. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bring the hands down to the mat. Straighten the left leg. Half splits. Find a deep fold. Take a smooth inhale. A smooth exhale. Good. Bring it forward, coming through low lunge, lifting the hands up to the sky. This time, option to bring the left hand to the back of the right leg, finding an even deeper twist, an even deeper opening. And again, you don't necessarily have to connect to make this a reality, and there's all sorts of variations you can pick. Again, you can clasp the hands behind the low back, or you can just simply lift the chest as much as you can without worrying about any sort of bind. Feeling the opening. Left hand to the back of the right leg. Take one more breath in. And a breath out. Release the hands down to the mat. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, and then straighten the left leg in some capacity for this squared off pyramid pose facing forward. Fold over the left shin. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Bend into the left knee. Rise up into your high crescent lunge. Option to stay here. Option to bring the right hand to the back of the right leg. Reach the left hand up to the sky. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Release the hands up to the sky. This time, option to bring the left hand to the back of the right leg, going into that opening twist this time. Keep bending into the left knee. Find so much strength here for 3, for 2, on 1. Release into your high crescent and then open into your warrior 2. From warrior 2, find peaceful warrior. Lean back, reach the left hand up and back in space. Keep bending into the left knee. And then straighten as we lift up and find even more length. One more breath in and out. We'll begin to rotate into our triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left hand down to the mat, block, or ankle as the right hand opens up, as the right side of the chest blossoms up to the sky. Take a breath in and a breath out. We'll start to bend into the left knee, coming in through warrior 2. This time, one more peaceful warrior. Lean on the back, take a breath in. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Step back into high plank. When you get to high plank, lower through chaturanga. Use your knees if chaturanga feels tough. Alignment is more important than the pose. And then flip the tops of the feet down onto the mat. Pull the hips forward into upward facing dog. First up dog of the class, I think. Which is wild because I love upward facing dog. So we'll spend a couple breaths here. You can rotate side to side, dip one shoulder then the other. We'll be here for 3, 2. Take a deep breath in. On 1, release and start to find your downward facing dog. When you get to down dog, take about 2 or 3 breaths at your own pace. Allow yourself to settle in. Allow yourself to find one moment of stillness amid a pretty active class. Good. As you're ready, lift the right leg up to 3-legged dog and step the right foot up to the right thumb, coming right into our low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Lift the hands up to the sky. Option to bring the left hand to the back of the left leg as we reach the right hand up and open the chest. Take a breath in. Exhale, release, straighten out the right leg, fold over the right shin, half splits. Beautiful. Start to bring it forward. Coming in through low lunge once more. This time, option to bring the right hand to the back of the left leg, coming into the twisted variation of that. Take a deep breath in and out. We'll do one more here. Deep breath in and out. Rotate the hands down to the mat. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, straighten the right leg in some capacity. Find so much new space in the back of the right leg. Fold. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Bend into the right leg and then rise up into high crescent. Option to bring the left hand to the back of the left leg in this high crescent. Right arm reaches up. Keep bending into the right knee. Come back through center, high crescent. This time, option to bring the right hand to the back of the left leg, creating even more space in the heart. Keep bending into the right knee. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. As you inhale, bring both hands overhead, crescent. Exhale to our warrior 2. Work into our peaceful warrior. Reach the right hand up and over. And then straighten the right leg as we lean. Take a deep breath in and out. Start to release, shift the weight forward and down, eventually into our triangle trikonasana. Feel the hips open, press the hips forward. Work into the strength. Don't worry about how deep of a triangle pose is. Worry about the structure. If you feel stable in the legs, you're always welcome to keep a bend in the knee. You're always welcome to shorten your stance. Take a breath in. Breath out, bend into the right knee, come through warrior two, come through peaceful warrior. Take a breath in, reach the right hand back. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat, step back into high plank. From high plank, you can totally skip this and just find down dog, or you can find your chaturanga. Maybe use your knees, press the tops of the feet down, and then pull the hips forward, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out, find your downward facing dog. Beautiful work. We're gonna cut out some of those floor poses and go through that flow a little bit speedier, emphasizing the opening in the heart and emphasizing the standing shapes now. So we'll go through the right side again, and then we'll switch to the left, building some pace, building some energy into our bodies. Be kind to yourself, meet yourself where you are. Know that you never have to listen to everything I say, but you're very welcome to. As you inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step right foot to right thumb. Inhale, pull the chest forward for runner's lunge. As you exhale, straighten the right leg and fold over. We'll take a full breath in here and a full breath out. Start to bend into the right knee and then rise up into a high crescent lunge. Take a breath in, reach the hands up high. As you exhale, bring the left hand toward the back of the left leg, open up through the heart. Take a full round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, both arms reach up. As you exhale, start to reach the right hand to the back of the left leg. Keep bending into your crescent lunge. Take a full breath cycle in and out. On your next inhale, reach both hands up to the sky. Exhale, find your warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Stay here as you exhale. Inhale, straighten the right leg, reach up. Exhale, begin to rotate into your triangle pose. When you reach triangle, take a breath in. Take a breath out. We'll do one more deep breath in and out. Bend into the right knee, warrior two. Inhale, come through peaceful warrior. Exhale, rotate the hands down to the mat. Step back to high plank. When you get to high plank, take a breath in. You can skip this, or you can find your chaturanga on your breath out. Inhale to find upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, left leg up to the sky. Exhale, left foot steps to left thumb. Inhale, pull the heart forward, runner's lunge. Exhale, find your pyramid, straighten the left leg. Take an inhale here and an exhale, bend into the left knee. Rise up to crescent lunge. Take a breath in, reach the hands high. Exhale, bring right hand to the back of right leg. Open up. Take an inhale and an exhale. As you inhale, both hands reach up. As you exhale, start to reach the left hand toward the back of the right leg. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Stay here as you exhale. Inhale, straighten the left leg, reach back. Exhale, begin to rotate into your triangle trikonasana. Once you get there, take a breath in and out. One more breath in. As you breathe out, warrior two. Inhaling into peaceful warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, step back to high plank. Take an inhale in high plank. Exhale, optional vinyasa, come through chaturanga. Inhale, find your upward facing dog. And then exhale, find your downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Last one here, inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, we're adding in this time back that original motion of bringing our right knee to our left elbow, and then extend the right leg long, open up to our falling triangle or revolved side plank. I snuck that one back in there. Such a nice strengthening movement. We'll release this by lowering the hips toward the right wrist, hips down to the mat, and then folding over, wide-legged forward fold. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands to the top of the mat, out to the outside of the right leg. Lift back up through three-legged dog, and then step the right foot to the right thumb. Pull the chest forward into runner's lunge, and then straighten the right leg, send the hips back, modified pyramid. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, bend into the right knee, runner's lunge. Inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. Exhale, bring left hand to the back of the left leg. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, hands reach up to the sky. Exhale, right hand to the back of the left leg. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Hands reach up to the sky, crescent lunge. Exhale, find your warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, stay here, bend deeper into the right knee. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, rotate into your triangle. Full breath cycle in and out. One more in. On the breath out, bend into the right knee, rise up into warrior two. Inhale takes you into peaceful warrior. Exhale rotates the hands down, step back to high plank. You can skip this or you can lower through chaturanga. Then finding your upward facing dog and your downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Last time here, inhale, left leg up to the sky. Bring your left knee to the right elbow. Lean the weight forward, look to the right. Then extend the left leg, open up to our fallen triangle. Hips press up to the sky, right heel lowers to the mat. Breath in, breath out. Start to lower the hips down toward the left wrist. When they do lower, fold down over the middle, wide-legged forward fold for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, start to lift up. Bring the hands to the top of the mat, outside the left leg. Come back through three-legged dog. Left foot lifts up to the sky, and then step the left foot to the left thumb. Reach the chest forward, and then straighten the left leg, modified pyramid. Deep breath in and out. Start to bend into the left knee, and then rise up into our high crescent. Take a breath in. As you exhale, right hand tracks to the back of the right leg. Lift the left hand overhead. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, both hands up to the sky. Exhale, left hand comes to the back of the right leg, this time twisting. Open up, breath in, breath out. Inhale to lift both hands up to the sky. Exhale, find your warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, bend deeper into the lunge. Inhale, finally straighten the left leg. Exhale, rotate into your trikonasana. Full inhale, full exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, bend into the left knee, warrior two. Inhale, find peaceful warrior. Exhale, rotate hands down to the mat, step back to plank. Option to skip this and find down dog or lower through your chaturanga. Find your upward facing dog, tops of the feet down, pull the hips forward, and then find your downward facing dog, hips lift up and back. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. If you can't tell, I'm quite out of breath right now. What an energizing opening movement series. Beautiful. From here, we'll lift the right leg to the sky, three-legged dog, but don't worry, it's just to find half pigeon. Stepping the right leg forward into our version of half pigeon. And so half pigeon is a pretty intense hip stretch. It feels a little bit different for all of us. Find a version of this that feels okay for you. I'll offer some variations. One variation is simply to bend into the left knee behind you. Oftentimes that gives a little bit more space into the hips, and it allows us to fully ground down through our whole right hip and leg, which is ideally what we want in pigeon pose. Another option here is to place a cushion or pillow or yoga bolster underneath the right hip and thigh. Oftentimes bringing the ground up is a great way to kind of mitigate the intenseness of this stretch for those of us with tight hips. And again, that's what I usually do, is I bring a cushion underneath my right hip. But again, when I film these classes, I like to use no props just so that everyone knows that they can participate even if they don't have any. But props are great. I fully celebrate and embrace props. But either way, in this half pigeon, you should be feeling a relatively deep stretch in the outer right hip especially, maybe in other places too. So I like to spend a little bit of time just sitting up, pressing my hands into the mat, using them for support. And then once I'm feeling ready, I like to finally start to fold down a little bit over my right shin. And we'll have plenty of time here, y'all, maybe 1 to 2 full minutes. So use this time to settle into your body, to have some mindfulness, start to gain an understanding of what sensations this pose brings out in the body. And while we find stillness, while we're not moving as much, notice if the mind starts to wander away from the body. And even though we're not moving, sometimes these deep stretches, these longer holds, can be really where we need our awareness the most. This is where some people tend to get injured from overstretching or for just not having a great sense of awareness of where their body and muscles are in space. So just make sure it feels safe for you. Make sure it feels like a deep stretch, but one that's sustainable, one that you don't mind holding for a tiny bit longer. We'll have a handful of deep breaths remaining here, so settle in a little more. Maybe you can feel the softening. Maybe you can start to feel the shoulders and arms relax as you settle deeper. Just breathe here. And we're starting to come toward the end of our stretch on this side. We'll just be here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll start to switch into this stretch on the other side. You can take a shape in between. I'm going to take a brief downward facing dog, coming through three-legged dog. That's just because that feels nice for me. Do whatever you need to do, and eventually we'll come into half pigeon on the left. Stepping the left foot forward. Of course, just like last time, you're welcome to bring a bend into the right knee. You're welcome to place a cushion under the left hip. You're welcome to stay in this upright position. You're welcome to fold forward. You're even welcome to take the reclined version of this stretch on our backs. Again, we'll have probably a little bit closer to 1.5 or 2 minutes here, so plenty of time to gradually settle in. Such a great opportunity for mindfulness and to get a little bit closer to our bodies when we're in these very intimate stretches. Again, the goal here is to release tension, so if you're feeling yourself putting a lot of effort in to hold this pose, maybe just see what you can do to find a slightly less intense version of it. Especially if you're struggling in the arms, shoulders, if you can feel the neck and jaw clenching up, do what you need to do. Modify this shape in order to be able to release a little bit in those areas. It's hard for our bodies to get a lot of value out of these stretches if we're in a stressed out mind state. So slowly settling down. We'll have some more time here. Whenever the mind wanders, just come back to the body, come back to the breath. Allow this stretch to be a physical meditation for your body. Beautiful job, everyone. We'll have a handful of breaths remaining here if you'd like to make any adjustments. Now we'll just be here for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to swing the right leg around in front of you. We'll find one last wide-legged seated forward fold just to offset that. So the reason we're doing this is because the half pigeon gets very much so into the outer hips and the glutes. This stretch, wide-legged seated forward fold, gets very much into the inner hips instead. So fold forward down the middle. We'll just be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Surrender a little bit more for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit up nice and tall. Cross the legs. Think crisscross applesauce, just a little bit wider, so the legs are just a little bit further away from the hips rather than being tucked in so close. And then we'll find a fold over the legs. And don't worry about the round in the spine here. It actually can feel nice to have an intentional round in the spine. As long as we're not dumping the weight down, the round in the spine is more so to stretch the muscles in the back, not to put more weight on them. We'll just be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit up just to switch the cross on the legs, and we'll just hold this for another few seconds. So fold over, and we'll be here for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit up nice and tall. Extend the right leg in front of you. Step the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Place the left hand toward the back of the mat, kind of off the base of your spine. Hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee and twist. Breathe extremely deeply here. Feel all this new space in the left side body, left diaphragm. Beautiful. Keep breathing. The breath is so important in twisting shapes. Keep inhaling and exhaling. We'll do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Unwind. Switch the legs. Extend the left leg straight. Hop the right foot to the outside of the left knee. Place the right hand off toward the back of your mat. Hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Twist. Maybe look over the right shoulder. Simply breathe. Good. Another 1 or 2 breaths. Let's go ahead and release. Come through center and then recline onto your backs. Hug the knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Feel the self-love, feel the gratitude, feel the kindness toward our bodies. Again, remembering that it doesn't matter if we're good at these poses or if we are supposedly bad at these poses, right? Because yoga is not the physical shapes. Yoga is the present mind state. Yoga is the awareness of our bodies and minds as we move through space. Yoga is love. Yoga is connection. Yoga is pausing in stillness and in silence and simply being and breathing. And we can find that yoga whether we're in a handstand, whether we're in a warrior two, or whether we're doing the dishes or maybe taking a walk. So the poses aren't that important. They're just a way that we can, they're a tool that we can use to experience yoga and to be present in our bodies. Release the feet down to the mat. Let's find bridge pose. Press the feet, lift the hips high off the mat. You can keep the hands pressing in by your side. You can bring the feet closer and reach the hands toward your ankles, or you can clasp the hands behind your low back and bring the shoulders closer to one another, to deepen the sensation here. Press the hips higher. Use the strength in the feet. Use the strength in the back muscles, in the glutes, in the hamstrings. Find your fullest expression here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Rock the hips down to the mat. Bring the knees in toward the chest once again. Feel the very low part of your back, even maybe the tailbone, just very slightly lifting off the mat. Then ground the feet down again, bridge pose, or full wheel if you'd like to bring full wheel into your practice today. Find your variation of bridge pose for the moment. Feel the hips lift nice and high. Find your fullest engagement that allows you to feel so strong and expansive. We'll be here for 10, 9, 8. Keep breathing, y'all. Beautiful strength for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips all the way down to the mat. Hug the knees in toward the chest. One more time, y'all. Bridge pose. Feet down, hips up. Do your thing. Rise up if you want to take this into a full wheel. You're more than welcome to, as long as you feel like you're breathing. Wherever you're at, find your stability. We'll breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the hips down. Bring the knees together as the feet come wide. So feet are about mat's width distance, nice and wide, and the knees knock together in the middle, providing us with a very neutral spinal position, which is nice after some of those heart openers or back bends. Feel the neutral positioning of the spine. Feel any effort evaporate away. Reverse the positioning of the legs, so bring the feet together as the knees drop out wide. Breathe. From here, you can find any inversion that might feel good to you, hugging the knees into the chest. You can lift the legs up to the sky, that counts as an inversion. You can find a happy baby, that counts as an inversion. Or you can do what I'm doing and find a plow pose. And for plow pose, I'm simply dropping the feet off the top of the mat behind my head. It's a very nice position where we lengthen the hamstrings and we round the spine a lot. And for me, after I go through back bends, I did do a full wheel just now. So after finding such a state of extension in the spine, it's nice to now find such a state of flexion in the spine to create space in the opposite sides of the vertebrae. Nice curve, but you can find whatever inversion works for you. You can even find a little supine spinal twist by dropping the knees to the left and right when you're reclined onto your back. Either way, in whatever position you're choosing, we'll have another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As gently as you can, start to roll the body onto the mat. Extend the legs long. Allow the arms to rest by your side. Take a deep cleansing breath in. Sigh it out. One more of those deep cleansing breath in. Sigh it out. Yogis, this is where I will leave you today. Please feel free to linger into your Shavasana as a final resting pose for as long as you'd like. I highly recommend 5 to 10 minutes of Shavasana, just laying down after a practice. It's a beautiful moment to connect and to rest and to be kind to our bodies. You're also welcome, of course, to continue your movement practice in any way because we are quite expanded. Regardless, it's always such a blessing to share this space with you. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope to see you again soon on or off the mat. And until next time, have such a beautiful rest of your day. Peace and love.